Nothing happens. They're fiction. They cease to exist the moment the novel ends.
But they can't. I get it in a literary sense or whatever,
I can't do this later.
Hello everyone, I'm Anna. In this episode of Cinephile, I'm going to discuss with you the life and death in the movie The Fault in Our Stars. The older man in the previous clip who argues that there is no life after his novel ends is the author of the book that the teenage girl Hazel Grace loves the most. She even recommends it to her friend Augustus, whom she met in a group therapy session for cancer patients.
Come on, just think of something. The first thing that pops in your head, something you love.
An Imperial Affliction.
Okay.
It really is an amazing book, which leads her into his life, and they fall in love all the way around this book. Before she met him, she tried writing to the author and got no response. But Augustus makes a huge difference. He wrote emails to the author's assistant, and a miracle happened. The author, Peter Van Houten, writes him back in a polite manner and with gratefulness. At least for both of them, Peter Van Houten finally replies.
I am particularly indebted to you, sir. Hazel Grace, he just called me sir.
Augustus, keep reading.
Actually, in the email, the author invites Hazel to Amsterdam, Holland, where he lives. With the help of Augustus and the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Hazel finally flies to Amsterdam with her mom and Augustus and attends a welcoming dinner hosted by the author, or at least they've been told so. At the romantic dinner table, Augustus explicitly expresses his love for Hazel, even though she insists on them not being lovers to protect him from being hurt.
I am in love with you. And I know that love is just a shout into the void, and that oblivion is inevitable, and that we're all doomed, and that one day all of our labors will be returned to dust. And I know that the sun will swallow the only earth we will ever have. And I am in love with you.
Their love started from the book, catalyzed by the romantic trip and dinner organized by the author Peter Van Houten. However, the meetup with the author ends up in an intolerable disaster. He is, in fact, an alcoholic and a mean person. He didn't even know about the meeting with Hazel and Augustus. He was actually all arranged by his assistant for helping Van Houten to get away from the grievance of his daughter, who died of cancer. This also motivates Van Houten to write the book and reluctantly to give it an end. Out of reluctance, Peter Van Houten ruins the meeting and expectations on purpose. They had a very big fight about the questions Hazel wants to have an answer to. She wants to know what happens after the novel ends, because it ends abruptly and feels like it ends in the middle of a sentence. That left an ocean-wide imaginary space for readers to chase the ghost of the story after the novel ends. But Van Houten gave them an absolutely unacceptable answer.
It's impossible
I will
not
not
to imagine
indulge
what...
your childish whims. I refuse to pity you in the manner in which you're accustomed.
Hey, I do not...
Being cruelly insulted, they stormed out of Van Houten's home. But his assistant takes him to a place where she kisses Augustus and finally accepts his love. Yet things change in the morning. He tells her that cancer has spread all over his body. After they go back home, he even sets a pre-funeral for himself to share the condolences with his two best friends, Hazel and Isaac. The two give him their eulogy right in front of him. Hazel wishes that there are infinite numbers of days Augustus can get to live.
Thank God. Do I want more days for Augustus Waters than what he got?
However, 8 days later, Augustus died in the ICU. At the funeral, Peter Van Houten suddenly appears and gives Hazel a letter, but Hazel threw it away and refused to talk to him. But when Isaac tells her that the letter was written by Augustus, who asked Peter to make it better, Hazel takes the letter back and reads it through. In the letter, Augustus tells Peter Van Houten how much he loves Hazel.
You don't get to choose if you get hurt in this world, but you do have a say in who hurts you. And I like my choices. I hope she likes hers. Okay, Hazel Grace?
Okay.
Okay is the sweet little secret word that binds them together with the love they share in both hearts. The book, like the title of the movie, whatever the name is, invites Hazel and Augustus into the world of the unexpected and leads them to the world of destiny. The answer van Houten, actually John Green, the real name of the author, gives us the theory of a German pathologist Rudolf Virchow. It goes like this: life comes from life. It suggests that all diseases originated from mutation or change of normal cells. So we have the same origin, but live a different fate. Every fate might be a fault in their stars, but it surely is a beautiful fault in every life. I'm Anna. Enjoy the tears. Pain demands to be felt.
Why don't you just ask the genies? Use your wish.
I already used it pre-miracle.
What'd you use it on? Not Disney. Hazel Grace. You did not go to Disney World. You
I
did
was
not use your
13.
last dying wish to go to Disney World.
And Epcot Center.
Oh my God.
It was actually a really fun trip.
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard
No,
in my
I meant
entire
Goofy.
life. Now I'm just embarrassed.
Why are you embarrassed?
I can't believe I have a crush on a girl with such cliche wishes. Terrible.